Hey, so this is part 3 on the conversation on depression, and this is 101. And the 3 ladies who've joined me, Jemima, Caroline, and Tabitha, in this segment we're going to talk about what they wish you and I knew, but more importantly, how we need to react to our friends. And I'll come to that in a moment. But Caroline, you were talking about the fact that there's a space people own. There's a box we all fit in, and anybody who tries to leave that box faces some serious consequences.
Exactly.
Now, one of those boxes is your generation, because you're 30. The rest of us these guys are coming to the 4th floor to join me. You guys don't talk. Text is it. In fact, if somebody calls, I can always tell the gasp. Why is it you people don't talk? Why?
It's because most of the time when you call someone, when you're talking, they can tell from the tone of your voice whether you're happy or you're sad or
Yes.
So when you're texting, it's very easy to put on that mask. And for me, being a lone ranger that I am, I've always known that I can always fight my own battles alone. So I don't need that to be in that space where somebody will come and try to give me opinions of, I don't know, maybe it's pride or something, but that's just me.
There's something we talked about earlier, and you triggered something very important. So when you tell somebody what you're going through, the other person tries to tell you either, oh Jonah, kuna familia nzima imekufa hapa Southern Bypass, what is your problem?
Yeah. They actually, they don't really understand that I'm trying to voice my frustration, my problem. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to voice what is going on inside my head, my mind. Mm-hmm. And the person doesn't really pay attention to that. They just belittle it. They belittle that thing, and they're like, I mean, why are you doing that? I mean, you should see people in South Sudan. People die every day. They are bombed every day and things like that. But the thing that they don't get is, I am telling you my problem because I want you to hear me, and I want you to help me to walk through this dark period in my life, through this valley of the shadow of death, literally. I want you to walk with me and tell me, Jemima, this is going to be fine. I know it sounds cliche, but it's going to be okay. Things will eventually work out. That is what I want to be told. Because these negative voices are not really helping me at all.
And me trying to act like yours is not the most important problem in the world.
Like, come on, get the drill, man. Like, what?
Does that happen a lot? Because I hear you about the Lone Ranger, but I'm also concerned that you realize that if you told somebody how you're feeling that day, somebody say, "Wewe wacha zako."
I think I've always feared that place of getting to a point where I'm vulnerable.
Okay.
Because there are some people who have tried to use my vulnerability against me. There was a time I tried to reach out to one of the people that I hold in very high esteem. Mm-hmm. And I don't know whether it's because of the stigma or something. They kind of pushed me away.
And they knew what your diagnosis was?
Yeah. And I kind of went back into that cocoon of loneliness.
It's safer there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Caroline, so what happens is that we compete also when we get on the phone and you tell me what you're feeling bad about. I'm like, gosh, did I tell you what happened to me? And you're trying to and I'm one-upping you.
we like to, I think we are competing for the victim space. So when somebody speaks to you, you imagine that they're a victim and you want to show them that you're more a victim. It's like we are competing for affection or attention. And therefore, when I come to you, you feel like you're the one who is more deserving of the attention. It's like we are trying to convert roles, but then some of us don't speak to people to get wish kind of thing. No. I just want like the way you'd use a paper to just dump what's in your brain. Mm-hmm. I want that person to be that for me. But we as a society are, a lot of the times we're incapable of just being a safe space for someone to just experience themselves without judgment, without needing to be fixed, without needing wish. Can you be a space for me?
I just had a hallelujah moment here. Where's my camera? So to the gentlemen listening, Not every woman wants to be fixed. Just listen.
Yeah.
The number of conversations and fights I had in my earlier dating life.
Yeah.
Because I would tell him what was going on.
Yeah.
And then he's like, brings out a piece of paper and says, I'm like, not everybody is looking to be fixed. Just listen.
Exactly.
Nod.
I just need a space, really, that is human enough for me to be expressive of what I feel. Because what happens is that if you create the safe space for me to express myself, I see it.
Yeah.
And when I see it, I'm able to be over it because I'm like, now this is it. That's not me. You see?
Yes.
So I'm able to say, oh, this is the disease. Oh, I'm still here and I'm still powerful. Oh, let's do today, Let's do today. But then when I come to you and we are competing for whose problem is bigger than the other, then I'm more lost because I'm like, wait a minute.
What happened to my issue? You're right where you began.
Yeah.
So, Jemima, I want to go back to when the deep hole opened, because I can only use the same terms you gave me. What do you wish the people around you knew in retrospect? And I'm trying to reach out to the boss who doesn't know what's going on, the mother who's trying to figure out this child, the sister who thinks she's lost her friend, the friend who doesn't understand why her friend changed. 2 things you wish people around you had known.
I wish people had, would go the extra mile, really. They would go the extra mile to try and understand my emotions and really hear me out. Like when I say I'm feeling really emotionally sick, I want somebody to just hear me out, give me that motherly hearing, that attention that a mother would give you. I wanted people to ask me, so why do you feel this way? How long has it been going on? When did it start?
Yeah.
Because that way it would help my mind to start really backtracking and then identify what the root cause of this thing is all about.
Okay.
Yes, I think that is what I would I really wish most of my friends would have really known, instead of just avoiding me, avoiding me totally. Yeah.
Tabitha, for a person who's had an illness, you can actually tell when somebody is going down that path. And luckily for you, your mother said, you're not okay. I'm taking you to see a doctor. It's your mother who figured it. But today, I'm sure you look around and you can tell, I know something's not right there. Because we can recognize certain things in other people. Even if you're catching a cold. That person who sits in the restaurant the whole time, because the one that starts here, and they're doing this, you're like, where? The cold you're about to get is nasty. What do you, other than having a mother who is perceptive like yours, what do you wish people knew? Because remember, you were diagnosed at 24. What do you wish people knew?
Depression and schizophrenia, it's mostly about your thoughts. And every time I see somebody seated somewhere, staring into space, deep in thought, there's a certain kind of staring into space that you can tell that this one is not normal. Every time I see that, I always know. I get to a point where I ask, are you okay? Because that one was one of the things that was dominant in the symptoms that I had.
Okay.
I used to stare into space a lot, and you wouldn't know what was going on in my mind.
But obviously, as Kenyans, you know how we are. Ukona fikira nyingi, wewe, relax. But actually, we need to stop ourselves before we say that.
Yeah.
Anafikirianga sana. But that deep in thought is literally you've gone to another space.
Yeah.
And at that time, you're listening to the voices?
Yeah.
Caroline, you actually say at some point, you realized your firstborn was having anxiety attacks as a mom. before I even get to wife, as a mom.
Yeah.
How much of yourself can you give when your mind is already at war with you? 3 children, my dear, is not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy for regular chicks. Now comes you.
Comes me and then kids. You know, for me, my experience was the backdrop through which my son's anxiety showed up. And I was so terrified because when I thought about what I went through as a grown-up, you know, nobody understanding you, you stigmatizing yourself. First of all, there's like, you know, I'm going crazy. Me getting admitted in hospital and couldn't tell anyone why I was in hospital, you know, because I didn't want to be seen a certain way. And now here comes a young boy who looks like he's going to go down that path.
And he will be judged.
And as a mother, I can't do anything about it. I can't. Sometimes you have to stand by and wait for his thoughts to calm down. But then looking into his eyes and seeing the way they're just, you know, his eyeballs are just going back and forth and he's lost in within there. It's the most scary thing that can happen to any human being.
You're saying you can't reach him at that point? You have to wait?
Yeah. Wow. And sometimes they don't even want you to hug them.
I get you.
Yeah, because they are afraid. And remember, anxiety has no object. You know, if there was a lion that just came in here, at least we would say that's a lion that has caused all our adrenaline to go up. But then when there's no object of, you know, fear, then you don't know if just even going close to him will accentuate it. You have no idea. So as a parent, that's why I have, you know, taken a step to come and speak, because what happens to those parents who don't want to talk about it? They're hiding their kids. They're suffering themselves because they can't do anything for their kids, you know. And these are teenagers who, as you're saying, do not speak.
They don't talk.
You know. So what happens if I'm not there? And he's gone through it enough to say, I'm done. You know, that's what's most scary for me as a parent. And that's why I say, I don't care if people say I'm opening my life to the public, if it will save people, because I'm sure it has saved people. People have come to my inbox and told me, I was going to commit suicide until I saw your post, until I saw you on KTN, until I, you know, that keeps me going. When I got admitted in hospital, it was scary because I used to be sedated like 20 hours a day. Yeah. My husband would be there by my side, but was so protective of me from the stigma. He didn't tell people.
Why you were in hospital?
Yeah, he didn't even tell some people I was in hospital.
Yes.
Because people would be like, what's wrong? And you know what he would say? She's been having migraines, headaches.
Ah.
Yeah.
But from your email, you do know that is a good guy.
Yeah, because he carried it. It's like the way, like a crowd is trying to get into your house and he's holding the door like this. So you can imagine he's going through all of that alone, because he also doesn't want to tell me what's going on behind there. Yes. And he has never told me what was going on behind there. And I was so afraid at some point that he would go down the same road, because we didn't know, there was nothing in the media about mental illness. It was just Google, like, and how much can you Google?
And Google tells us all we're dying.
You know?
If you ever try to diagnose yourself on Google, it's a mess.
Yeah.
Yes.
And at some point I was admitted at Bustani in Valley Arcade, and he took me there. That time I was suicidal and the voices started coming. And the doctor actually said that's a psychiatric emergency. If you can get her on an ambulance, if you can drive. We drove from Thika to Nairobi in 20 minutes.
Could you hold that?
Yeah.
When we come back, I want to talk about suicide, because I serve no purpose in this segment of the conversation if we don't talk about that. And you said that's a psychiatric
emergency.
I've never heard that term. I didn't know there was such a thing. Subscribe and come back.